Well, me thinks I should give a silver and palladium update. Now, you saw the price action today was very interesting, actually, because to me, the price action today specifically was a sign of hope for the people that hold the metals. The reason being is that it looks like the Dow and the S&P and everything went down. The U.S. dollar went down. Crude oil went down, which is a major indication that the economy is not doing good when crude oil goes down. Hey, and I'm going to comment a little more on about that deal. But you saw the metals go up, especially the industrial metals like platinum and palladium. And I want to talk a little bit about palladium because I want to tell you, man, I think with the commodities, all the prices are rigged. They are rigged. They are rigged. There's no BSing around about that. I mean, I'm not making an excuse about that. But, there's been ongoing lawsuits about the oil industry in particular, but all the commodity industries, even coming from the former head of the NYMEX, that the spot prices are rigged. It's not a real price discovery mechanism. So, anyway, chill out, hang out with your bike. Don't freaking worry about it too much because, when you panic, that's not in your best interest. Because panic means you panic sell, you panic buy when it's going up, stay chill. Stay chill, Hang out with the chick, hang out with the bike. So anyway, first off, I want to get off on one little topic, too, that I've been ignoring for a while because there really is no new news on it all the time. But the thing is, I know people have been seeing, I've been one advocate of palladium, and it's been going down. It actually was over $900 an ounce. Not that long ago. I forget exactly when, over a year ago. But now it's down. It was actually below 600. Now it's over 600. But I'm going to tell you, that price action flat out doesn't make sense. You're saying supply and demand is what determines the price. Say, yeah, sure. I know Goldman Sachs predicted palladium to go down, and the palladium sellers were predicting it to go up. But I'm not a palladium seller, but I want to tell you something here. World vehicle production. Now, this chart goes up to about 2013, but I'll show you charts that go even beyond that. But if you want to look at this chart more carefully, see China right here, the blue? See this sliver? It was like nothing back then. They weren't making any cars, right? And look how much cars they're making. They're making more cars than Japan, okay? And look at others. I don't even know what's in others, but others is making a lot more cars. I mean, Russia ain't making many more cars. Brazil's not making, they're making some. Mexico is making a little more. India's making a little more. Korea's making a little more. China's making a whole pile more, okay? See, the USA production's been kind of like flat. The Chinese production of cars is greater than, it's bigger per vehicle than the USA. What does that mean? Demand for palladium. Because 65% of palladium demand is automotive. So why is it going down? It's rigged. Telling you flat out. Doesn't mean it's going to stay down. I'm going to tell you. I know people go, it's rigged. But here's the other thing is they say there's more mines. Oh, yeah, there's more. There ain't more mines. It's got cheaper to produce. It ain't cheaper to produce. Oh, the other one is recycling. Yeah, I know about recycling. They've been recycling, though. They're recycling freaking 5-6 years ago. I mean, they're not recycling that much different than they used to be. They're doing a little more, but it's not that much. And it's actually a very, very small slice of the pie where the supply comes from. So here we have the forecast for global light vehicle production, which is 65% of the use of palladium. It's going up. So what gives? I'm telling you the price is rigged. All right? That being it said, doesn't help you, but that does help you in a way because don't go thinking that brand price is going to stay down that low because when they rig the price down, they wind up rigging it up later on. Commodities have always been known as high risk, high reward, or potential high risk, potential high reward, a seesaw, not for the impatient investor. That's what commodities have always been noted for. And I was saying that back when silver was rocketing through 30, then 40, And I said it was always been a high risk, high reward, and people didn't want to hear it back then because it's high risk. Oh, the dollar's going to zero. Yeah, okay. It's always been this way, damn it. Shit. But it's been rigged a long time. The spot price is bullshit. But anyway, just chill out. You know, the thing is, yeah, I'm going to get on to some other things, and I was talking about Hillary. Now, here's a righteous woman that works on her bike. You know, you'd never see Hillary doing this in a million years. But, you know, a Hillary supporter, a typical thing she would say is something like, you know, all men are stupid, and I'm equal to men at the same time. You know, what does that mean, right? I'm equal to men in every respect of the word, but also, oh, by the way, they're stupid, they're lazy, they're useless, they're dumbasses, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't know. Women conflict them. Well, that's the Hillary supporter. I can't say the woman. A righteous woman out there will grab a wrench. Okay? You know? A Hillary supporter won't. I don't know. Maybe they will, but if they do grab a wrench and they support Hillary, I can tell you one thing. They don't know what the hell they're supporting. Because that lady, Hillary, don't even drive her own car. For crying out loud. She ain't going to work on her own car, that's for sure. But anyway, Palladium is probably going to do very well. I mean, and you know, now that it's been suppressed like this, I know why it's been suppressed, because it's almost like even though it doesn't have anything to do with the actual supply and demand, it has to do with the global industrial output. Even though you saw the global industrial output going up in the type of stuff that Palladium uses, in general, when everything's kind of going down, all the commodities go down at the same time. That's what happens. But hang on to your freaking silver and hang on to your palladium if you got palladium. Don't worry about it too much because it's going to change. And the situation is going to be whereby when it changes, it's going to catch you by surprise. I realize now, after the damn fact, that I was thinking that Obama was totally, well, I didn't realize exactly what the game plan was in the Middle East. I think they're setting up a major conflagration for the future in the Middle East. And there's going to be the war of all wars, like Saddam Hussein said way back when he said the mother of all wars and it never happened. I think that's really what's going to happen in the future. And you're going to see the price of oil go right through the freaking roof, including home heating oil. While the EPA is going to be telling you freaking can't use your wood burning stoves, and there's going to be a lot of money for fuel, driving your Jeep in the wintertime, and all that kind of stuff like that. So commodities, actually, it's like a two-edged sword. I mean, right now you're saying, yeah, you're depressed that silver's down, but they all kind of go together. I mean, yeah, sometimes one outperforms the other. Sometimes, like a lot of times, palladium has a lot of room to go weight up where it should actually be more than the price of gold, and gold's got a lot of room to move up. Palladium actually has the most room to move way the hell up, and they've never gotten into using the hydrogen technology because palladium's the main thing right now for purifying hydrogen, storing hydrogen, and it's got a lot of different uses even in these hybrid cars. But I'm going to tell you, like, if that's what the masses are going to do, I'm going to tell you, because this is what I'm doing, I'm staying old school because I realize what they're doing with this stuff. Actually, they're even have these electronic gold chips now. There's a company in Denver literally producing billions of them, right? And they'll probably be throwing them in all these new cars too. Basically, they don't require a battery. They just are powered by the ambient energy, which tells me they got ways to, that alone tells me it's not bullshit. It's not a bullshit story. It's actually we're probably going to start getting these things. The government employees are going to be getting them first. I think that technology is going to be embedded on the credit card. I mean, I got some credit cards that got this little bullshit electronic chip in them. But it supposedly has a lot more than that in it, besides an identifier, the ones that are coming out in the future. But the only way to actually stay free is to be old school. Because the only way they can control you is when you basically get on a bandwagon and become part of the system 100%. You don't want to be part of the system 100%. That's one reason I kind of like Jeeps, Jeep has always been freedom, except the new ones, they suck. Jeep has always been freedom, the free spirit. The new ones suck, though. I hate the new ones. But, the thing is, you don't want to be actually jumping on the bandwagon with all this technology. I think the countries, though, in the future, though, that are probably going to get very strong, because I think commodities are going to boomerang the other way around. One place is going to be strong is Australia. No doubt about it. And even though, too bad they didn't have a constitution down there the way the United States does, because they got a lot more people, the right mentality, than they do over here in the United States. I can tell you that right now. Although, it's a mixed bag over here, too. But, the commodities, though, are partly being suppressed. I think, I'm going to tell you, and I don't think anybody's ever said this before. I know I talked about, I think the commodities are deliberately suppressed due to Putin's ambitions. I know there's people out there that say he's against the Rothschilds. I'm like, yeah, he wants to be a Rothschild. You know what I mean? He ain't a nice guy either, man. I don't know how people are fooled by this guy, but whatever. But the thing is, it's partly to push them, to push down Russia's military ambitions. But, on the other side of it, what part of the country that is the most independent thinking in the USA is also getting crushed economically by the oil prices being so radically suppressed? Texas. It's like freaking sucking all the money out of there, man. Big time. And then the other thing is, I think they're bringing the prices down because, well, I'm going to tell you, the oil price being down this far, that's something that I think is also artificial because, well, you got different things. Like, in other words, to actually start up a business in, say, oil, you want to have a guaranteed, or not a guaranteed, but a very likely, nothing's guaranteed when you start anything, very likely that the price of oil is going to be over $85 a barrel on the WTI. Or else forget about it, Now, once you get it going, you do all the capital expenditures and everything's in place and it's rolling. Well, I'm going to tell you, accountants never call it cash costs. I don't know where this term comes from, but maybe to some people, though. They call it operating costs, bare bones operating costs. You might be able to get away with $35, $40 a barrel, depending on where you are. It's all different every place, with just bare bones operating costs. But when you get below that, see, right now, actually, oil wells in the United States are closing down. And for real. And these other places I'm reading, they're saying that there's such a glut on the oil market. I don't buy this bullshit, to tell you the truth. I don't buy it. I know they're saying it's coming from the Saudis. But then again, I'm not sure because, China's like buying oil from Russia, and there should be a lot less oil on the market now due to all these oil rigs shutting down. It's been going on. It's been like going off the side of a cliff. I mean, Australia's hurting right now, But, it doesn't look like it, appearance-wise, if you look at the Australian babe. But the thing is, it's like, I don't think the situation... See, that's the thing with commodities. When they get crushed too much, oh, crap, they can go too high. Problem is, when it goes too high, I'm going to hear 50 million voices out there telling you, hey, it's going to the moon. Like this lady here running with the birthday cake with the rockets on it and shit. It's going to the moon. It's going to take off. It's going to go anywhere in the world. It's going to go up to the freaking stratosphere. It's not. It's probably going to go higher than you think, especially today. I mean, the more the crushing is down, the more I'm thinking silver is going to go well over $100 an ounce. It could spike that high, not stay that high. Not that the dollar's going to get obliterated. Oh, by the way, I had to put out something before that. It was very likely that China was going to get, what the hell was it? Officially as a world reserve currency in October or November. Now it looks like they're going to try to push that off to 2016. I don't know. It's kind of weird because the situation, because at one point, the powers that be in the United States are creating the markets in China with our policies, but at this other side, it's like, why are they, that's ruining the United States, but then again, they're trying to keep the dollar strong. I don't get what the hell they're doing exactly, to tell you the truth. I really don't. Because it seems like on one hand, they're trying to destroy the United States, and on the other hand, they're trying to keep the United States strong. Because they're destroying the economic industry of the U.S. by exporting it overseas. On the other side, they're trying to keep the dollar strong. I don't think that situation is going to continue, though, forever. But as it is, people that are, been looking at the dollar for the last several years. It's been the strongest it's ever been since the 80s and stuff. Yeah, people are thinking, it's going to keep going that way. But I'm saying, man, you're going to be in for a big surprise, I think, when it starts going the other way. Because once the pendulum starts rolling, and it looks like it is, because today, you really can't judge upon one day, but I could say this isn't really one day. The markets in the Dow are down over 1,000 points. That's a fairly significant drop. It's got to really be like 2,000 points to really be considered bear market. This can just be considered a correction. But the point is, oil is at a 6-year low. While metals are going back up again, even though they were really low, they're going up from being really low. And it's kind of telling me something there, man. That's kind of telling me something. Oil is actually an indicator of... See, oil is like a two-edged sword. See, oil, if you're running the economy really hard, you got a high demand on oil. But for every percentage point that oil goes up, it puts a major drag on the GDP, the output, because it's costing you that much more to produce. So like oil and silver and everything else is like all tied together. And of course, the mining industry itself is very much an energy-intensive investment. It's a type of an industry. Excuse me, I meant to say an industry. So when you're talking about the bare bones operating cost, if the oil prices are way down, that brings down their bare bones operating cost. But then there's a limit to how low the oil prices can go. And I'm like looking at this car production, and I'm saying to myself, maybe the car production in the United States isn't doing so good. But globally, there's a lot of these little cars that are Chinese are making, like the charts going right off the freaking roof. Every one of those cars is a little straw sipping on that oil supply. They're telling you the global oil supply is a major glut. I don't believe them. Because, when they jack the price up, they'll tell you, like, there was a Somali gunboat that attacked a tanker in the middle of nowhere. And I'm like, Somali gunboat, probably a tanker freaking ran it over or some shit. But then they'll jack the price of the oil up $10 a barrel inside a day off of that news. Because, like I've been telling you, the one market that really is rigged like crazy is the oil markets. And I'm thinking is... Wall Street yo-yos are trying to actually squeeze out, just like they do with farmers and everybody else, out all the oil companies, and they'll buy up all their capital assets for pennies on a dollar, move in there, be in the driver's seat. I mean, they're not going to be actually pumping the oil, but they'll be owning the companies, owning all the assets, owning the personnel, and then they could drive the price way the hell up. And I think it's going to go way the hell up when there's a major conflagration in the Middle East. Actually, I think that's what the bomb is about. It's about, we've been supporting ISIS, the Muslim Brotherhood, for years. We've been creating more and more tensions in the Middle East. It's just that it's taken a lot longer. But it really does mean that the price of silver can go to some... I don't want to bet on $100 or more an ounce, but it could definitely break through that magic 50. And it could spike up to something for a very short period of time. Just like when you're running, you can, you got the long haul, and you can sprint it out for 100 yards, but then you got to, like, slow down or stop or something, or get down to a slow crawl jog to recover. Silver can do that all over again. It can actually super spike really high. So, just want to tell you people that, even though I didn't predict this stuff right for the last few years, because I didn't think silver was going to go. I figured rock bottom would be about 22. And palladium, I always figured could go anywhere. Tell you the truth. They can push that market anywhere. But really what's going on right now isn't making sense with the charts. I'm not talking about the charts where you're showing it, on Kitco or something, or Net Danny or some bullshit like that. I'm talking about the charts which is plain supply and demand. It don't make any sense. It don't make any sense. And, if the price of silver is down due to low demand, well, I'm going to tell you that means the economy sucks. No two ways about it. But, the thing is, in a new age, the only way that's actually going to destroy silver demand is if we go to carbon nanotechnology, and that is some years away. Where the electronics will all be using carbon nanotechnology and not silver. But then again, you don't know what else silver could be used for. I don't know, with mirrors right now, they're using more aluminum than they are silver. Like with mirrors. The mirrors was the big thing with silver and all that kind of shit. But, they always, it's like, the thing is with metals, the word is really spike. They're all over the place. They spike down, they spike up. Just like even with these, you're looking at a picture here of like an old rusty Jeep. For instance, that's another thing I could tell you that's going to be a crazy investment. If we have a major, we really do have an underlying recession right now, and there's no doubt about it. But say it's really really bad. I'm going to tell you one thing that you probably might want to scoff up if you got the money or if you got your silver investments go way up a lot, is buy the classic cars. Because I think they're going to get crushed in price. And if you want one, go buy one. That's probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait. Because that's like a luxury investment. Way back when, I think back in the 60s, Harleys were selling knuckleheads for like dirt cheap. That were practically leftovers from the 40s. And all of a sudden, they went up to they were gold-plated. Now you're looking at classic cars, they're like gold-plated again. They're going down maybe a little bit. But I think they're going to get crushed as an investment because there's something that doesn't really produce nothing, and it's kind of like a dangerous investment to hold because, unless you have insurance on it, But, it's not something that somebody really needs. But they might go down a lot. That might be something if you might want to trade some silver for. Because I know some people say, oh, you don't want to freaking trade it for fiat. I don't want to trade it for fiat. I want to get something else. A 32 Ford or something, hot rod. But, I'm patient on a deal. Because I don't think it's going to take too long. Probably take a couple years at the most, and we might just see the total difference in price because Obama's going to be out of office. Hillary, I don't know what's going to happen with Hillary, man. I still think she's going to get over, man. There's so many times Bill Clinton got over. I think the big thing with her, though, if she gets in office, even if she got in office, we're going to war in the Middle East. There's no doubt about it. She's a hawk. And if we go to war in the Middle East, commodities are going to go right through the freaking roof. Including oil. You're going to see $8 at the pump. I know, like Lindsey Williams been predicting. He don't know nothing. He's the elite guy told him this. Maybe he does talk to an elite guy, but, I don't need it. You know what? I'm going to tell you, I didn't personally talk to the elite guys, but this guy I was working with was. And, they were, let me put it this way. I've seen certain isotopes go from $10 or something, what it was, an ounce or a gram, what I forgot what it was, to like thousands of dollars. They're not on the market though. There's different types of things that you don't go buy a stock ticker of them or anything like that. They're privately traded, and a guy was dealing with all kinds of stuff. He was dealing with asset exchanges on Greek islands. That's why I knew all that stuff about the Russians and Cyprus, that they use it as a tax haven, because I don't like dealing with all those yo-yos, man. They're a bunch of assholes, man. I'm gonna tell you one thing, man. There's wealthy out there, then there's wealthy, then there's wealthy, then there's like freaking people out there. They're not even on the radar, man. If you look them up in Forbes, they ain't even there. And you look at their statements and stuff and what they have in warehouses, it's like they're multi-billionaires, not millionaires, billionaires. It's like what the public knows about people's wealth. There ain't too many of them around, but I saw some of that shit. I can tell you right now. I didn't talk to them. I just know like what their shit is, and I was like, but I'll tell you one thing that's common to almost all of them. They're heavy into real estate. So that's another thing you might want to think about with precious metals. If you have to go exchange it for something else, I don't think the real estate market's going to be doing good long term. And if you got some kind of real estate, you buy some kind of real estate that can actually produce you an income, that might be another thing. Because I'm not looking to hold all precious metals forever. Some people are, I'm not. I mean, some people think precious metals are going to go to the moon and you're going to hold it forever. I'm like, I'm not thinking that way at all. I mean, I'll probably hold some of it forever. Not most of it. But, people they'll give me, they constantly, I remember when silver was going up a lot, they were constantly giving me arguments about, what are you going to do, keep fiat? Ooh. I said, no. Nobody ever does that. Nobody. No business, no person, nobody. When they have a major capital gain on an investment, they don't just stick the money in a bank and get interest on it. They go on to the next venture. And I can tell you one thing. They don't it isn't like la-di-da, sit back and sit on your ass, because every one of these people I work for or work with or know about their details, they are extreme workaholics. Their families and wives might be fucked up, but they are extreme workaholics to the max. And a lot of them got very nice personalities and other interests, but their whole life is, how do I make more money? To like a Geiger counter. I thought this stuff was going to do a lot better, because I figured the Middle East was going to blow up a long time ago. But, we got Obama in there. But then again, I'm thinking maybe this whole deal with Obama is just a long-range plan to set a situation in the Middle East for it to really blow up. And you're going to see oil through the stratosphere. And like I said, the global light vehicle production's been going up. Palladium's still going down. None of that shit makes sense. And it's not supposed to make sense. That's why you can read too much into these charts. They're rigging the prices. And most of these ETFs, I'm going to tell you this right now. It's like the ETF is saying, yeah, you got a piece of paper. I know people say, we got a piece of paper. Paper doesn't mean nothing. Well, paper does mean something, but let me put it to you this way. It's like a two-edged sword. Like, say, for instance, I have title to this bike, right? Well, that piece of paper is as good as the bike, because that means I own the bike, right? But say 100 people have title to that same bike. That's the problem with these electronically traded funds, the ETFs. The underlying assets really aren't there. They're counting assets that are backing up all kinds of stuff, not just one thing. That's why the paper markets are going to be very dangerous. I don't know when it's going to be a matter of musical chairs. And when you get out, like I said, what do you do? I mean, maybe I'll buy a classic bike, classic car, maybe a classic Jeep. Tell you the truth. Something with flat sides on it, so if it gets a dent, you just, you cut out a nice piece of flat sheet metal and you put it in there. You don't have to worry about putting curves in it or nothing. Anyway. I don't like those rich fucks, to tell you the truth, man. I mean, I seen some of those guys, man. There's like wealthy. I'm telling you, man. There's people out there that fucking got. I I mean, let me put it this way. You think I'm full of shit, but I seen people coming up with €1 billion certificate of deposit. It's cash. That wasn't even like their main asset. I forgot what the hell that gems thing was. I got it someplace, actually, I think in one of my emails. $600-something million in gems. What the hell was that? I forgot what the hell. It was like natural earth formation. Billions of dollars in caesium isotopes. But, actually, one of them, actually, tell you the truth, I'll tell you another story in the end of here. One of them was a Russian guy. I was reading about him, and I'm thinking, holy shit, this is the same guy we're dealing with. The FSB picked him up with machine guns, man. I was like, oh, the same guy we're dealing with, man. I was like, holy shit. I was like, I don't want to deal with that kind of shit. That gets too crazy, man. So, anyway, I shouldn't even said that, but there's a lot of... You don't want to get that wealthy, man. Tell you the truth. You don't. You don't want to bet that kind of much money. They got problems, man. And now it's weird. The more money they got, they don't feel like they got money anyway, because once they get used to that, it's like everybody else around somebody's got more, and everybody's out there smiling like a bunch of freaking sharks ready to cut your throat. So anyway, I like old Jeeps, man, and hot chicks and bikinis and whole bikes. So anyway, just chill out. I don't want people getting worried about this shit too much, but, to repeat again, the fact that the Dow's been down over 1,000 points, the fact that oil has been down to a 6-year low, which sucks for me because I'm investing in double leverage oil. Now I'm like saying, well, Lindsey Williams, you're an asshole. It just proves it. Right? It don't matter, it don't matter because I don't get bent out of shape about any of that shit. But I'm also looking at the same time, metals look like they're springing back, which is telling me they're not springing back because the economy's strong. They're springing back because people are saying, I don't trust what's going on in the economy. I don't trust what's going on in the markets. I don't trust anything. I'm investing in metals. Get it? And eventually, when those metals go too high, I'm going to say I'm not trusting in metals. I'm investing in a Jeep or an old bike or some real estate. Anyway, chill out, and, I'm not going to know an exact time to sell, but it doesn't really matter if you get it exactly right, as long as whatever else you move into is a good investment and it's a strong producer. And actually, real estate is probably a better... I can tell you, all the really, really wealthy, pretty much all of them, and I can tell you, I know not that I know it, but I don't even want to bother with this shit. I mean, I could be playing that game again. I hate them, though. I hate all that shit. But I do fit in very, very well with them for some reason. But the thing is, they all have, the really, really wealthy definitely have sizable real estate portfolios. Because real estate, even though you can say it goes down, if you got the right kind of real estate, it always produces money for you. Classic cars don't do that shit. Unless you're building them or something. If you just buy one, it might go up, but you don't know. It just sits there. It's speculative. Real estate can actually get you leasehold money. It can get you money from, farming or whatever. It could be a producing asset. Almost all the really wealthy have real estate. So if you're going to do something with your money, the main thing, you might, after you make your money on metals, real estate probably would be a very, very good bet. But again, you got to do your homework because, you just don't buy real estate and say, hey, it's real estate. You can get screwed too, but in general, that's going to be the right way to go. I'm going to go that way mainly, but I think I'm going to go with, a Jeep or something like that, classic Jeep. So anyway, just chill out and just remember, the reason these things aren't working out the way you expect it to is because the markets really are freaking rigged. I mean, I'm not just saying that to, tell you something. I'm telling you, you've seen the demand on the cars, what's going on. That's telling you about oil, that's telling you about palladium, and the prices are going down. I mean, it's been on, like I'll say it again. I always have this video down on the bottom of all my the videos I list, that oil's been a rigged market since at least 2000. They have ongoing lawsuits on that. They're not going to change that shit. It's a scam. But the thing is, they can rig it up, too. They can make it go a lot higher than it should. That's when everybody's going to freaking argue with me that the dollar's going to zero. I'm like, no, it ain't. They're rigging the markets up. So, just chill out. And I don't know. I'm going to tell you something. I would not be surprised, since Obama's a lame duck president now. I would not be surprised if something comes out of the extraordinary, where we see a major crash in the markets. And I don't know what else. Because it ain't going to affect him. You know? It ain't going to affect them at all, right? So, I mean, you know, this doom and gloom crap could be right around the corner for real. So, stay prepared.